Welcome to Smart Garden, where we separate gardening fact from fiction. If you've been gardening for any length of time, you've probably heard dozens of well-meaning tips passed down through generations. While many traditional gardening practices are gold, some popular beliefs are actually sabotaging your garden's success. Today we're diving deep into 7 persistent myths that might be doing more harm than good to your beloved plants. Myth 1. Watering plants in full sun will burn their leaves. This myth has convinced countless gardeners to wake up at dawn or rush outside after sunset with their watering cans. The belief suggests that water droplets act like tiny magnifying glasses, concentrating sunlight and scorching plant leaves. However, scientific research has thoroughly debunked this notion. The reality is that water droplets on leaves evaporate far too quickly in direct sunlight to cause any burning effect. When researchers actually tested this theory using focused light beams and water droplets, they found that leaf burning only occurred under artificially intense conditions that don't exist in nature. So what actually causes leaf scorch? Well, it's often watering with extremely cold water on those hot days, which can really shock the plant. There are also underlying issues like disease, nutrient deficiencies, or even drought stress that can lead to this problem. Now, the best times to water are still early morning or evening, but not because of any burn risk. These timing preferences exist because, less water evaporates during the cooler parts of the day. This makes your watering more efficient and gives plants time to absorb moisture before the heat peaks. Let's talk about myth number 2. More fertilizer always equals better growth. If a little fertilizer helps plants grow, then more must be better, right? Well, this logic leads many gardeners down a destructive path of overfeeding their plants. Excessive fertilization creates a cascade of problems that can seriously damage or even kill your plants. When you overfertilize, you're essentially force-feeding your plants more nutrients than they can process. This creates a salt buildup in the soil, which burns those delicate root systems and prevents proper water uptake. Overfed plants also become more susceptible to pest attacks and diseases because, rapid forced growth produces weak, tender tissue that insects and pathogens find irresistible. Now let's talk about something crucial for any gardener soil testing. Too much nitrogen can actually encourage excessive leaf growth at the expense of flowers and fruits. The result? You'll end up with lush green plants that look healthy but, produce disappointing harvests. The key here is understanding your soil's existing nutrient levels through testing and, of course, feeding plants according to their specific needs and growth stages. Moving on, let's tackle another common misconception. Myth number 3. Tilling your garden every year improves soil health. Annual tilling has been a standard practice for generations, with many gardeners believing it's essential for loose, healthy soil. But, unfortunately, this well-intentioned practice actually destroys the complex soil ecosystem that plants depend on for optimal health. And finally, let's delve into the fascinating world of mycorrhizae. Healthy soil contains an intricate network of fungal threads called mycorrhizae, which form beneficial partnerships with plant roots. These fungi extend the root system's reach, helping plants access water and nutrients from much larger soil areas. But here's the thing, when you till, you shred these delicate networks, forcing plants to rebuild these relationships from scratch each growing season. Tilling also brings dormant weed seeds to the surface where they can germinate, creating more work for you later. Instead of annual tilling, focus on building soil health through composting, mulching, and minimal disturbance techniques. Your soil's structure, water retention, and biological activity will improve dramatically when you stop disrupting the underground ecosystem. Myth 4. Citrus peels and acidic materials can't be composted. Many gardeners avoid adding citrus peels, coffee grounds, and other acidic materials to their compost bins, fearing they'll create an unusable, overly acidic final product. This myth has prevented countless organic materials from being recycled into valuable soil amendments. The truth is that citrus peels and other acidic materials compost perfectly well when added in reasonable proportions. The composting process naturally balances pH levels as materials decompose, and the finished compost typically ends up with a neutral pH regardless of the starting material's acidity levels. The key is moderation and proper composting technique. Citrus peels should make up no more than 10 to 15% of your compost pile, and they should be chopped into smaller pieces to speed decomposition. Balance acidic materials with carbon-rich browns like dried leaves, paper, or cardboard. Your compost pile's microbial activity will handle the pH balancing naturally. Myth 5. Epsom salt is a universal plant cure-all. Epsom salt has achieved almost magical status in gardening circles, with enthusiasts claiming it can solve everything from yellowing leaves to poor flowering. While magnesium sulfate, Epsom salt's chemical name, does provide magnesium and sulfur, two nutrients plants need, using it indiscriminately can create more problems than it solves. Most garden soils already contain adequate magnesium levels, and adding more can interfere with calcium and potassium uptake, creating new nutrient imbalances. Before reaching for Epsom salt, get a proper soil test to determine whether your plants actually have a magnesium deficiency. True magnesium deficiency shows up as yellowing between leaf veins, while the veins themselves remain green. When magnesium deficiency is confirmed, Epsom salt can be helpful, but it should be applied according to soil test recommendations, not sprinkled around randomly. Remember that healthy soil biology and proper pH levels are far more important for nutrient availability than adding individual minerals. Myth 6. Organic gardening means no pest control. Some gardeners believe that choosing organic methods means accepting pest damage as inevitable. This defeatist approach leads to unnecessary plant losses and garden frustration. Organic pest control isn't about passive acceptance. It's about working with natural systems to create balanced, resilient garden ecosystems. Effective organic pest management starts with building healthy soil and choosing appropriate plants for your climate and conditions. Healthy plants naturally resist pest attacks better than stressed ones. Encouraging beneficial insects through diverse plantings, providing habitat, and avoiding broad-spectrum pesticides creates a natural pest control army in your garden. Myth 7. Native plants don't need any care once established. The plant it and forget it. Mentality around native plants has led to many gardening disappointments. While native plants are indeed adapted to local conditions and generally require less maintenance than exotic species, they still need appropriate care to thrive in garden settings. Even drought-tolerant native plants need regular watering during their first year or two while establishing root systems. They benefit from occasional weeding, deadheading spent flowers, and protection from competing vegetation. Native plants in garden settings often grow in different conditions than their wild counterparts, such as amended soils or altered drainage patterns. Understanding your specific native plant's needs and providing appropriate care will reward you with healthier, more attractive plants that better fulfill their ecological roles in supporting local wildlife. Ready to transform your gardening success by ditching these harmful myths? Your plants will thank you for trading outdated advice for science-based practices. If this guide helped clarify some common misconceptions, make sure to subscribe to Smart Garden for more myth-busting content and evidence-based gardening advice. Share this video with fellow gardeners who might still be falling for these persistent myths. Together, we can help everyone grow smarter, not harder.